se ho den ne wo ho a wo kunu tafra ebe ha wo kama minti ade ye se ye die nya sa na ye kan ye di konkonte wi a ayo ano ye ntafrim ede asem so kran eni bible mu se wotia.
Sometimes you realize that the sex drive in the relationship is gone. If you are oral sex, no, everything about. There's something called blowjob, and so they are couples, and that's what they like. And there's nothing wrong with that. And to me, for me, I think it's good sex education. Look, sometimes if you're a pastor and you have good sex, when you come back, you come and preach better. And it's nature. God put it in there. You can't call it a sin. We shouldn't demonize it. Except God has given you a direction, say, man, and we are different.
It was about too much. Most of the masters from my page, let me at the man. So, send me up with the I will say to make mediani seeking. Now, there's a video trending now. Will be a come video where press before I saw a moye at the first year and answer echoes. And as in be say be a better one day, as in be sending me.
The question on was se ho den ne wo ho a wo kunu tafra ebe ha wo kama minti den ne wo ho mo se den ne wo ho dan wo ho nya den won kan nti te wo dware fine wo nware ya na wo nware wo dware nti wo so beta afre ho ase kwasi ni ma me nko so esie me ho mra wo siesie ani mu ha sese wo siesie kire ho nso kama asem bia ni ho me question ne se ade ye se ye die nya sa na ye kan ye di konkonte wi a ayo ano ye ntafrim ede asem so kran ma de suamu no me se me hunu bibia e wo bible mu kan bibia about oral sex eni bible mu se wotia na abode mu nso so entia nti e wo mienu ho sa mo pesa mo de ka ho a mo ye na de ani je brem a oba no se chinchina wo mpa de foforo nye men force say opo no achechire na to no abie ne nam se mbefefo ase wrong.
Response are suffering by among the body of Christ. People want to know more if the man of God was right or if he was wrong. Mesaka Apostle Sakwa Mande. Kamone man akoba mrejime diso. Apostle, you want to about too much here? Yeah, Papa, there's a video trending on social media. Now, I say what chance on the video. So for a church and this sort of on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
In the Nako say, at the phone come on. And we say, a bear say, Bema that day can I no be or bassy. No will leaky for any purpose. And the response about any is so for said there was no issue with it. As a matter of fact, we are checking the Bible, no, and there's nowhere a church say a bar say Bema a day or no a boy or bassy so or tafreo.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. I mean, this topic is very important. Sometimes, as you know, in fact, sex education very serious. Sex education is very important. Now, and this kahuma our any year complete. Now, a marriage where there is no sex, no, it's not marriage. It's just people living together.
Yeah.
And you want to ask the questions as to whether some of the things that we do privately against God's will. We think this against God's will because the Bible said Adam and Eve was naked and they were not ashamed. And there's no shame in sex. Oral sex, it is intuitive. I mean, a boy, I don't think it is a bad thing for that to happen. Senior okay, you know, Nigeria, I'm afraid to give head. I know that's what you are giving head. Let me put it. So when you see give head, that's what I'm referring to. I mean, there's nowhere in scripture. However, there are a lot of spiritual dimensions to it. This is the reason. First of all, the person must be your wife.
Okay.
If the person is not your wife, the act of sex is a sin in the first place when it's not your wife. But if it's your wife, what I believe that they were naked and not ashamed. And so there's nowhere in scripture where you cannot do that. And if that what the lady likes. But account of video says sometimes because the ladies feel unclean, they don't really like that kind of act. They feel unclean. And so clean yourself and come. And there's somebody who likes it anyway. They make an answer what you said. And for me, it's not something that anybody should be worried about. We need to enjoy each other and enjoy sex as couples. And I want to take it a bit further. Sometimes you realize that the sex drive in a relationship is gone. If you are oral sex, no, there's something called blowjob, and so they are couples, and that's what they like. And there's nothing wrong with that. And for me, I think it's good sex education that was had in the church. No qualms about that. It's a good thing that he thought about it because it was good for the occasion. I'm sure it was a singles time, and I said something like that, sex in marriage, and some of those conversations. And there's no problem whatsoever.
Okay, Apostle, it's okay say there's no problem whatsoever. Other pastors are of the view say that act is a very bad act in the sense that spirituality is concerned. See, it reduces the spirituality of the man.
What is spirituality about sex? You're having sex. Why do you want to spiritualize everything? And
that's not the right.
What is high level spirituality? Sex is also spiritual. It's intimacy. Look, sometimes if you're a pastor and you have good sex, when you come back, you become a priest better. What do you call it?
But that's a good sex. But not a good.
Everything is all part of it. All I'll be for a movie, complete.
So
there's absolutely nothing wrong.
So when pastors are against this act, why
the pastors need knowledge? There's nothing like I don't understand why. I want to hear any pastor say, "Oh, we can invite a pastor. Maybe let's look for a pastor who can debate me very well, and let's check out to see whether, in fact, this is wrong or not." And they shouldn't bring themselves. Why are they doing that?
So it is.
They don't have any proof. Don't mind them.
It's
It is intuitive. It's part of nature. What I said. Now you see all over. You see a goat having sex. You see dogs having sex. It's a natural thing that happens. And that one day I was listening to Bishop Doug and was giving those examples, and he was talking about polygamy, and that's a very controversial one. What he says, but he was using animals as examples. Animals are very promiscuous. Men are very promiscuous. You understand? You'll be shocked that you can see chimpanzees having oral sex. When you see that, what will happen to you? It is nature. God put it in there. You can't call it a sin. It's the nature of man. And we shouldn't demonize it. Except God has given you a direction, say, man, yeah, and we are different. But if there's no direction, I think there's nothing wrong with it. As a pastor,
but why would God give somebody a direction?
Direction is also God. You eat normally, and I will say, but God can give you a direction. Don't eat. Abstain. Abstinence is part of direction. You mean to me, man, and I'm able.
Say, you can have sex, but you, this man of God, this one, you don't do it.
Don't do it. To
what effect?
We don't want to find out why he said it.
But Apostle,
I don't know. You can't interpret it too much. I don't know. I can say don't do it based on certain reasons. But let me say something about this. So if the person is not your wife, you are not married and you're having sex and you do oral sex, especially when the person is having menses, in the spiritual realm, that blood creates a cloud in the spirit that blocks your blessings. And I know meaning because I do a lot of the deliverance and as an apostle.
That's why we read there. Menses so send there we don't know.
And they get problem. I mean, the Bible doesn't provide when he's not your wife, she's not your wife. It is prohibited. It is dangerous. There are a lot of people who do it. They don't care whether they are, even when the person is in their menses and you have sexual intercourse with the person. That blood that comes out is a very strong thing. It can do a lot of things against you. I don't know it's different. That's another dimension. But if you are married, you can have oral sex.
But I saw for cancer in those days, so about a bullying.
Okay.
Yes, a man go to a more bosome wena. Yeah, more grandmother. Yeah,
we are seen as unclean.
Yes. Is it in those days? Be to me for the team kwasho base. No kwata free one.
I know they ought to be in cow. Only nyama for you.
But say sa in man we ya and my spirit be ebe how and
the thing is uncleanliness. No, I want to say the thing is the uncleanliness that it gives you, and it's in the book of Leviticus. You read it very carefully, you find it. And that's another one, because where you're not even allowed to touch a dead bodies, because the dead body is unclean. And then the lepers, you can't touch a leper when he's unclean. So that is why lepers are separated from society. But yes, so touch not what is unclean. There are certain animals that are unclean, like pigs, that are seen as unclean. Remember when God appeared to Peter, and Peter said, "This is common." God said, "Don't touch what God has cleansed. Don't call it common." So in the dispensation of grace, you can never say that somebody has touched an unclean thing. Your wife is pure, touch it. But as soon as you go and touch an unclean thing, the curse it brings you become unclean. And you favor a driving crop. That is why people have money, and their money, you lose money. Spiritually, no. You go and touch somebody who is not married, it makes the person unclean. Spiritually, no. The person becomes bankrupt. The business to me collapse. The car to me break it down. You sorry as a man. Everything just locks up because you slept with somebody who was in their menses. And now you licked somebody who was in their menses. I'm telling you, people do all kinds of things. So and then you're very dangerous. It will block your blessing because you are touching something unclean. That is when you are not born again. And that is when the person is not your wife. But I said, in that act, once it counts without, the marriage framework, no, higher body, no, you're very dangerous. I'm telling you.
But also, inside the same meeting, you can see here, if you become a born again by the grace of God, in your manner, some time ago, we can do it now.
We can do it now. No. You can do it. You can sleep with your wife. Everything you want to do, go ahead.
Says,
anytime, better for fire. That's you. That's your wife. Now, the Bible even say that don't deny each other from sex. In your Bible, in the cancer. So you have no condition to deny. Even if you have menses and your husband wants it, you can fire.
But any medical effect,
I have not done any research.
But doctors say leaking. So urban war infection be one.
Oh yes, as for infection, it's another conversation to have. Infection can happen. Even normal sex can bring infection.
Okay.
And there are people, I do not know whether there are sicknesses associated with leaking. Maybe there could be. But Jesus, God will create something like that. Maybe the person is not clean, it's different. It may, and most of the time, when the woman has gone away to go and have another sex with somebody, transfer your man. When the marriage bed becomes defiled, that is when most of those sicknesses happen spiritually. But if the marriage bed is not defiled, and you are married together and you are fine, there's no problem. Defilement, no, and no principle, no, and no sickness, now that no, spiritually. No. So when you see a lady who goes around and is not married, and you do that to her, and you know the over to area, unyama be basa, blessing be blocking, and you are very dangerous. But as couples who are clean and agrees, they said,
but Apostle, made us a power in Chile because it raises so many conversations online. Now, what can say Bishop Dark Ekansimbi say even the animals teaches us say marrying two women is not a problem because there's no goat who has one wife. Apostle, yes. Can we learn from animals as human as we are?
Yeah. Well, that example is interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'm picking him out of context, but I saw that short video. But generally, polygamy is not something I recommend. I don't recommend say a man should marry many wives. I mean, these schools of thought, they are schools of thought. They are not certain things.
The men are dying. They think like if you marry more, you won't die early.
Oh, it is because people are not emotionally strong. That's why they can't marry many. That was like guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it flows the issues of life. I think Proverbs 4:23. Now, the entire to be worried is we are not emotionally capable. Emotions do a very important part to marriage, and that lack of maturity, no, to me worry about because man who am they are very troublesome when they get to menopausal stages. When they get to, they are weaker vessels. They create a lot of problems. They are driven by what to get a lot of times, and they can be very quarrelsome. Sometimes some of their moments and their days based on their cycles, no, they are not happy. So dealing with a woman Very complicated. If you're a man and you're not emotionally strong, you can't marry. And so sometimes, because of the need of the man, you want to think like you want to marry another person. But it's not the ideal situation for God. God doesn't want that. When God created Adam, he gave him one wife. It was in the days of corruption. After corruption, and God, not out of the perfect will of God, it was a permissive will of God. And David married many. Do you understand? And if you look at all this, he even said, the Lord even spoke about how you have to be careful if somebody has divorced, and you want to marry, it doesn't become adultery or fornication. So we have to be careful. Realize that in God's mind's eye, on polygamy. Therefore shall a man live and cleave and become one flesh. Genesis chapter 2. And for me, I don't believe in the language of polygamy. What if you go and marry many? And it's a school of thought. Because schools of thought, give it to me, for example, you can talk about Trinity, and somebody can explain it differently. It can come from another angle. You can talk about procreation. There's a school of thought to it. You can talk about a lot of things about, doctrines, where you have different schools of thought. And there's nothing of eschatology. The end time, there are schools of thought to it. You understand? The same thing with polygamy. So you don't establish polygamy as a doctrine. It's very dangerous. Because the Bible said that free from every appearance of sin. Say, and you're very careful. But if you marry one, you are safe to go to heaven. You marry more than one, God doesn't like it.
Also, this one wife is the reason why they are going to hell, because the trouble in that house, the man needs peace of mind. So the man must flee and get somebody who can make him okay. So Apostle, with regards to
this is a very interesting topic we are discussing though.
Yeah. So Apostle, one person's wife is the reason why the person is going to hell. Because they are desire.
You know what I believe, I think that a lot of men, God didn't give them their wives.
They met the wrong women.
They met the wrong women. Okay. So there are a lot of times God didn't bring the woman. You went to find the woman you brought.
But does God give anybody a woman?
Yeah, but what God has put together is this scripture.
Yeah.
Let no man put. So God puts together prayerfully.
But you, Apostle, he said that you will bring the woman, then God will bring you guys together.
No, it's not like that. Whichever way, all the things, the skirmishes that happened, you saw the woman, but God must approve of it. Somehow, maybe there was manipulation. You went to meet the Satan.
Hey, it
was true.
Hey.
Yeah. So that the people that come to you must be, but the person that comes to you must be your wife. A lot of people are married wrongly. So that one, God will separate the two of you. I have sons who are prophets. I'm telling you, and their marriages have gone back. I mean, and you don't blame them for anything. You could see that they married witches.
But with this understanding right now, that means that you can approve divorce or
there's a situation where what God has put together, let no man put together. What God didn't put together, put asunder.
It's a situation like obeying the wife about church for wedding. Issues came.
As a man of God, and as a man of God, what I know can happen to you is that somebody can sneak into your life. Who have 5 children. After 5 years, is that her agenda is to kill you. As a man of God, would you allow the marriage to stay? There are certain situations you're not allowed to stay.
Is it
you can't be a wife. I mean,
an attack on the relationship
it's not an attack. It was set up wrongly. The foundation in here is not a good woman that came into your life. There are some women that are not marriage material. Let's all accept it. People come to me, but I want to marry. When I pray, God said, until you take her through deliverance, you kill the man that comes into her life. There are women are killers. They are Jezebels. I have married Jezebel, don't forget. Was Jezebel a good woman?
Yeah, she was a good woman.
How does she become a good woman?
Because all the dreams of Ahab, Jezebel was the reason why all the dreams were coming to pass.
No, but it was killing ideas. Killing and taking people from people's backyard.
Because that was what the husband wanted.
No. It's not a good woman. I mean, she was very devilish. She was fighting men of God. That cannot be a good husband to have. Good wife to have. No, so they are bad wives. Look, let me tell you, a lot of women, some people where he has gone to before he has become a child of God is there. You need to take her through a lot of work, deliverance. Otherwise, who are we now? And we have a lot of people in the church, about counseling. Then the Lord will tell me, this lady is not married material.
Who be back?
Man of God, it's easy. So are the men. But it's more with the women. I'm telling you, the men easy to change. But the devil is able to attack a lot of women to the point that, like he did to Eve, or her man of them can say what you say. And that's true, man of God. Only careful. You see somebody you think you love, but it's a devil incarnate. They are sending about life. Must never say, won't tell you. But one pastor who said, no, this one is not marriage material.
Apostle.
She just came to my life to destroy me. And you two, you were manipulated to go and meet her. It means manipulated.
But Apostle.
Now I share.
But Apostle, I know, sir, you know so much. But for the benefit of the viewers we have watching us right now, I would like to ask you this question so that
go ahead.
You can go deeper.
I'm ready.
Apostle, number one, we know that marriages go through storms, situations, and at times you feel like you have married the wrong person. So why is it that you begin so well with one woman? Everything was going on well. Then after 10 years, 15 years, now the same woman has become a devil that you will find every reason to discard her.
Okay, so now you are coming into the real marriage space.
Yeah.
Let me say that I do marriage counseling on radio with my wife, so I can give you a lot of information. There are stages of marriages. First of all, the stage that becomes the wedding stage. Okay, let me put the first stage, the wedding stage or the meeting stage, where you are finished marrying. There's a stage where in every situation, before you know, you storm. There's a storming stage where there will be conflict because at that time the babies have come into the picture, and then you go through some challenges. After the babies have come into the picture, you come through conflict. At that conflict stage, it's a storm stage. You go through conflict before you get the normal stage. When the babies grow to like 5, 6, 7 years, the pressure is not too much. You understand? Then at that time, then you come to what we call the formation stage. The formation stage is a stage where you have come to a point where now you have formed together as a couple. People have different descriptions for different reasons for them. So there are stages. So when you are at a stage where the children are very young, you are going through, you don't understand, and sometimes your mind will tell you it's not my wife, it's not your husband, it is past the stage of the marriage. There's a stage where now the two of you begin to understand each other. And you know what? At that stage, that's when you can do business together. That's when your mind becomes one. That's when you are more stable. At that time, you have passed through all the trouble. Let's not confuse that with spirituality. It's just stages of marriage.
Okay.
Spirituality is different.
So when does it come in?
The spirituality, spiritual things are spiritual descent.
Okay.
So once you are doing this, you have to be praying to find out whether it is a spiritual issue or it's just a certain stage, maybe the third stage. So I'm talking about 4 or 5 stages before the final stage where the two of you enjoy marriage. Now we show you now about 10 years. Yes, and now 5 years. Meanwhile, when you are about the second stage, you wanted to quit. And a man of God can help you to see whether spiritually God has sent you to the marriage or not. And so there are 2 different scenarios. Spiritually, but there's a stage in marriage, because at that time the man wants to find his feet. The woman wants to find his feet. The two of you financially, Nyaman is stable. What you say? The woman can wake up because of the pressure of the children on my sex. All those things are part of it. And she'll be every time angry. Oh, I'm not beautiful. But you're married. You think that she's a witch. That is also a stage. We went past that stage, man. Son of a call. The formation stage, the final stage. Then you began to understand each other. Oh, okay, I firm with you. I tell you once. They say, yeah, we are settled in marriage. But nobody teaches some of these things. What worries the church is ignorance.
Okay.
Yes. Say your name. To be for me, why you? You go and marry the person, another person, you go through the same stage and run away. If you mean why you grab me that the same way, I don't care. Because she didn't have knowledge.
Okay. So, Apostle, before anyone can conclude that they married the wrong person, it is God that will tell you.
It's God that will tell you. That's when you mean I catch you. So a series of prayers, and also around Pabamukra, we pray, and you see a lot of dreams, a lot of revelations.
Now, when a man is going through that pressure, would they have the stability to?
I'm sorry, you're a man. You have to look for it.
Okay.
Bible said, be anxious for nothing, but in all things by prayer and supplication. Everything by prayer. And yet difficult. But the man, when the pressure comes, over 250 years, he's going to walk around. He counts. The pressure has increased.
Because he will die. He doesn't want to die. So he needs to go out.
No. Dying won't be ever possible, because then the pressure will be too much on you. And you don't recommend that to happen.
Okay. Also, but as a person, my
final word is that the young men who don't want to marry should marry. And may God bless marriages.
Apostle, now the men are
they don't want to
now
marry.
the women in town, Apostle, easy.
One
lady is dating about 4 guys.
It's become the norm now. Eddie, I can tell. But as
the reason why they marry to, the reason why they come into the marriage is just to come and feed. Mostly, they are looking for a place to sleep, a place to feed. So
and the man becomes an ATM.
Yes, they draw from the man. If they can't get any withdrawal, they
who can survive this? Who can survive this? But I pray that those who want to marry good wives should also become good men.
Yeah, that's it.
You're a good man. You find a good wife. Me, my issue, I started praying about my wife for a long time. I got a good woman because I prayed for a good woman. And yes, I met a lot of people, but this is the one that God made me choose. It's not easy. But a lot of prayer, So, if you find a crap one, prayer, I'm telling you.
Apostle,
thank you so much, man. God bless you.
Many apostles and Edim common. Major the contact at was you who was in BCB. And I will hear and will be able to find number was your name apostle Edim common. Median CK. Kai subscribe on my page, no me at the man. So send me upload and so now, Unsa, a bit